Now let's see another way of creating a singleton design pattern, which is the best way so far, which is with the help of enum. So using enum, you can create singleton pattern, but this will only work in the version which is above 1.1 and 1.5 and more than 1.5, let's say 1.6 and 1.7, 1.8. It will not work before 1.5 version. Okay, so let's start with this. So for that, what we'll do is we'll remove this class ABC here. Everything will be removed. And then in main also, I don't need now two threads. So we'll see how to work with enum, which itself is a thread safe singleton design pattern. Now, in order to create a singleton pattern, what we can do is we can define a class. Okay, since we are not using class, we have to use something called as enum here. And we'll define it as ABC. So instead of creating a class ABC, we are defining enum ABC. And the best way to create a singleton pattern is just define it as enum, and we have to use a keyword called as instance. That's it. We have created a singleton design pattern. Okay, so you don't trust, right? I know. So what we can do is we can just define a private constructor here. So by default, whenever you say instance, it implicitly creates a private constructor. Okay. So just to prove my point, what I will do is I will say I will create a variable here which is int I, and then let me just create a method which is public void show, which prints the value of I here. So let me say s out, and let me print the value of I. Simple. And let me come here. Now I want to create the object or the instance of ABC. So in order to create the instance of ABC, we can simply say it's ABC obj 1, we can say equal to, instead of using new, since we cannot use new is because we are working with enum and we are using something called as instance. So by default in this type, so enum is basically it's a special type of class. So which simply means it will have a private constructor already. Okay. So what we can do is we can say it is ABC dot. So we can simply say instance. Simple. By this, we are creating a singleton design pattern object. Now, how to assign the values? We can simply say it is obj1.I, and we'll say values, let's say 5. And let me call obj1.show. So all the features we can use at normal class. In normal class, we define variables, we define methods. So in the same way, we are defining a variable here and we are calling the method. Now to prove my point, I will say obj2 equal to abc dot instance, and here I will say obj2 dot I equal to, let's say, 6. So I'm creating a new object, and then I'm calling obj1 dot show. Simple. So here also I'm calling obj1 dot show. Here also I'm calling obj1 dot show. So if you are creating two different instances, that simply means you will be getting output as 5 and again 5. But if it is singleton, you will be getting answer as 5 and 6. And if I run this, so answer is 5 and 6. That means we are implementing singleton design pattern here. So just a quick revision: whenever you work with this enum is a special type of class. In that we have to use something called as instance. So this instance basically defines a method which is public static abc get instance. Instance. So this is what this instance is all about. Okay, and it has by default a private constructor. Now the advantage is, even if you are working with double checked, which is double checked locking, which we have seen in the previous video, when you talk about deserialization, so whenever you work with deserialization, so I hope remember we have to use something called as read object. So even if your class is singleton, read object will give you new object. And that's why using enum, there's a method called as read resolve. So if you are using read resolve, it will not create new object. It will use the current object itself. That's the advantage of using enum as your singleton design pattern. So again, enum only works with the Java version 1.5 and above, so it will not work in any previous version. So that's the end of our Singleton Design Pattern series. So we started with the first one, which is eager. Then we have gone to lazy. Then we have seen how to use synchronized with threads. We have seen how to use double-checked locking. And this was the last one, which is enum, the best way to create Singleton Design Pattern. So thank you so much for watching my videos, and do subscribe for further videos.